Alrighty, guys, how you doing? Welcome to New Jersey HorrorCon. We have a pretty incredible panel for you today, the New Jersey HorrorCon Villains panel. So let's not waste any time. Let's get these legends out on stage. We have Tony Moran, Bob Elmore, and Zack Ward. Make some noise. You guys have made some of the most unforgettable villains come to life on the screen. What villains haunted you guys growing up?
Phantom of the Paradise. You guys remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
That was freaky. Yeah.
Oh my god, that fucking movie scared the
freaky.
shit out of me.
Yeah.
My older brother is 8 years older than me, and he had me watching. Yeah, we'll get in there.
Private panel.
He had me watching Deer Hunter when I was like 6.
Oh, man. That'll fuck you up.
Yeah. I cried. Yeah.
Mine was Anthony Hopkins in Psycho.
Oh wow.
Oh, Anthony Perkins.
Anthony Perkins, yeah, he freaked me out, man. Anthony Perkins, yeah. He
Definitely.
freaked me out.
I grew up with The Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, the old Universal. That's what I grew up on. It was like, wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
Frankenstein.
yeah,
when
I love
was
all
a
that stuff.
Little kid.
Yeah,
that
little. I mean, way
scared
back
the
when you
shit out of me.
know the show was 35 cents to get in, and stay all day,
Yeah, right.
and you got the whole thing.
Phantom of the Opera was pretty
That
scary.
was-
The original one.
The original was.
His face was terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The lot, you know, some of the, you know.
Lon fucking Chaney. That
Oh,
guy.
man.
That's
Absolutely.
that's a villain. I'm a pussy. He's a villain.
No,
Come in
get
and
out
sit
of
down,
here.
please.
Yeah, come on in, guys.
Bring it up close.
Yeah, come.
Don't be shy.
Don't be afraid.
It's like here we are.
We have an intimate
raining
setting
outside.
here.
Come on in.
There you go. Yeah, come on in. Have a seat, guys.
What's your name? Jeff. That's Phil, Jeff.
Who's this young lady?
It's Phil McCracken.
Yeah, that's me.
Call him Big Earn.
Is that your wife?
Girlfriend.
There we go. Okay.
Why aren't you married? What's going on? Okay.
Aren't you in love? Okay. Do it. Do the right thing, man. Okay.
The love and villainy panel.
Do the right thing. That's all.
So,
We saw the A&E, the making of Halloween.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
That's we saw you on there.
Awesome.
good stuff.
Was that scar? Did they make that scar on your face?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, the hanger, the closet scene, from the hanger.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I totally forgot.
Speaking of hangers, Bill Moseley, who played Chop Top in Part 2, was always scratching the plate on his head and picking up these little bits of stuff, and eating them. And I'm watching him do this, and I just kept staring at him because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then I would get yelled at because I'm not reacting to him.
Right.
I'm just like in awe, like that. And they go, oh, I'm not an actor, so I don't know what to do. So that was fun, though. Absolutely.
Cool, very cool. So, what initially made you guys each decide to pursue careers in film?
Age before beauty, so.
Okay, I started out at an amusement park in Orange County called Knott's Berry Farm. As the Wild West stunt show, we did, Pratt Falls and stuff, and I got into that. I got my card through a commercial through Knott's Berry Farm, and decided to try to do it for real as a stuntman. I'm not an actor, and it took 2.5 years before I finally got a job. And when I did, it rolled and rolled and rolled, and eventually, almost 30 years of work. After all that, I have a nice retirement now because I am old. And because of all that pounding I took in my life, everything hurts now.
Yeah.
So remember that.
You were stuntman in Dr. Giggles?
Yes, I was.
She had some favorite
Another epic movie. Epic.
She actually loves that movie.
That was so bad. I just, Paul Drake, it's like we did a.
So what part in that movie what did you do in that?
I doubled, what's his name? Larry Drake. I'm old, I told you. I doubled Larry and all that. We did a fight in the operating room on fire and an explosion and just all this other stuff. Chased a girl up a ladder and stuff. I don't know. I did whatever they asked me to do, really.
You weren't a stuntman. What other career do you think you would see yourself being able to do?
I have a degree in physical education, and I wanted to be a coach is what I wanted to do. But at that particular time, there's no jobs, and I said, forget it. So I went on, and it. Who knows what you're going to do in life? This is all, who knows? And that's what I end up doing. So I'm very happy with that.
Tony, Zack?
Answering the original question, how I got into it, my mom's an actress, so I've been on set since I was 5. We were living in Stratford, Ontario. Stratford, Ontario is a sister city to Stratford-on-the-Avon in England. So Stratford, Ontario has this Shakespearean theater, which is like one of the biggest in the world. And my mom would explain to me Shakespeare, because it used to be like the Married with Children back in the day, a lot of fart and titty jokes. So it was crass, and so I was like an 8-year-old boy excited about hearing about butts. And because my mom explained it to me, and then I was watching a play, and this guy did this line that I was really excited about because it was naughty, and he sucked, and I was like, I could do that better than him. That's pretty much where it started, and that's why I spent 2 years auditioning, about a year auditioning. So I was better than you, but then I did a year auditioning, and I got commercials, and then I did that for a couple of years, and I got my first movie, which was Christmas Story. But I always thought, like, I came up with a saying, and you can use this: great movies are inspirational, bad movies are motivational, because you'll look at it and you'll be like, "Fuck me, I can do better than that idiot," right? And then you try, and then you fail, but you learn so much in the process. True. And that's how I became an Oscar award-winning actor. Oh, no, that's not it.
You know, the time between me getting my card to be able to work, the 2.5 years, is that I hustled everybody I could hustle. I worked on my craft as much as I could, and worked out and worked out and worked out and practice, because in any line of work that you do, persistence will pay off here. Right. But you better be prepared. You better have your stuff together at this point, because if you don't, that's it. So at that point, I did, and I went on, the word got out, and it's all word of mouth for stunt people or who you know somebody that is running a show, and that's exactly how it works for us. We did that, and so I got to be known as, a big guy that was pretty quick in my day and pretty strong. I'm not anymore, but, and it's all reputation. If you're a good guy, I don't know how many things I did for free for people. Millions, I don't know. And that's what you have to do. You just perpetuate that until finally I made a living at it.
That's how I call it the 3 Ps: persistence, preparedness, and professionalism.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And everything, it could be whatever.
Tony?
Yeah, my parents had a Christmas party when I was 9 and my little sister was 5. And there's 6 kids in our family, but this agent came with a friend of a friend or whatever, and she was a child agent, she represented children. And she saw me and my little sister, and one represented us, and so me and my little sister, we did our first job together was doing a commercial as brother and sister, and I hated it, and so I stopped doing it. I just hated this. I just hated it. Yeah. I worked for a guy named Lee. The director for the commercial was named Lee Lacey. He was really famous for high-budget commercials, and he flew us to 3 different states just to find the right snow on the right hill to toboggan down, and one commercial. And it was the commercial with the first year of How the Grinch Stole Christmas aired. The original, yeah, I swear to God. So I stopped, and my little sister, she played Joni Cunningham in Happy Days. Erin Moran, that's my little sister, yeah.
We gotta have a crush on her.
Yeah, everybody did. And then so when I graduated high school, I was drafted by the California Angels out of high school for second base, but I tore my knee up at my senior year, so that got screwed. And basically, I got back into acting with the same agent, Mary Grady, because I didn't want to go to college, and I had nothing else I was gonna be able to do. So I said, "Fuck it, I'll act."
Mary Grady, an actor too?
No, but her daughter, Lonnie O'Grady. Yeah, Lonnie O'Grady. Yeah.
I think this is fascinating myself. I really do. I love all this stuff.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So I grew up, on the sets of Paramount and Happy Days and all that shit. Like you were saying. And yeah, crazy. And but I really, I can't really say anything like magical. It just I had nothing else wanted to fucking do in life. So I thought, fuck it, I'll be an actor, fuck it, So I did, and Halloween was my first job. But I didn't even want to do it. Mary was my agent still, and all that, and she begged me to go on the interview, and I said no, because back then, well, you're probably too young, but you understand. The only way you can see tits and ass in a movie is either through a porn or a horror movie. So back then, right? So back then, if you did a horror movie, they're like, it's just one step above soft porn. You know what I mean? So the agents and the directors and producers were like, "Oh, you did that movie? Oh no, we don't want anything to do with you." So my little sister even didn't know I did the movie until 2006. We were doing the same convention at Chiller in Jersey, and that's when she found she was at her booth and I'm at my booth, because she stopped talking to the family for years, but she saw my booth and she's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like looking at my banner and looking at me, and I'm looking, I'm like, "Hey," she's like, "Fuck," So, yeah, I didn't tell her, I was ashamed to do the movie, I was ashamed.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That it used to have that stigma attached
right,
to it.
Dude, right?
Because it was that environment where it was, you had to search out those type of movies.
Right.
You had to find a place to go see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same place where they showed Mary Poppins and the big features.
That's right.
And it was the same place where we looked for like Mad Max or the Kung Fu movies. You'd have to go to that shitty theater in that part of town, and it only played in one place. And you had to. I mean, do you remember this? How old are you, bud?
No, they're too young to know. No, they don't. They wouldn't even know about
Yeah,
this stuff.
you might be, but it is like you had to hunt that shit out and to be part of it. Now that's interesting. I forgot what an anathema that was back that time. That's interesting. All right.
Crazy.
Next question.
Well, kind of tease right into the next one, actually. At what point did each of you guys realize you'd worked on something that was going to be around for a very long time?
Not mine.
Really? You don't think so?
I went as a stuntman to double an actor. That was my career. And we go back and we're doing this, and it's like, oh, this is the stupidest thing I ever. But I'm making money, sending money to mama. She's happy, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy couldn't do anything. He couldn't lift a chainsaw. He couldn't walk, didn't want to. He was, wasn't into violence and, and all this. And I go, so they said, well, Bob, you got to do it. I go, this is a close-up. I can't do this. Well, nobody knows who's behind the mask anyway. I said, okay, So I was on that show. I worked double contracts as an actor contract, and then a stunt double contract. Nice. And I think 7 days during that period, I made $30,000 in 7 days.
Damn.
And I sent home. I made more money on that show on that particular week than Dennis Hopper did, and the director for that matter, Toby Hooper. So they passed the check around, and and I called my wife and said, "Look, I'm sending you something." "Oh, the check." I go, "Yeah, I'm sending you the check." I go, "But please do not spend it all in one place." "Why?" I go, "Put some away," And it was like I think it was $19,000 or $20,000 after taxes. I said,
And what year was this?
1986.
That's a lot of money in '86.
It was a lot of money. And so I made a lot of money on that movie. I really did. I still make money on it today. I have... thanks for being with us today. Love you. And so, I had no idea how this movie affected people, how it would turn out, how anything, like that. I had none. It was just a job. I did my job. We worked our tails off. I never worked so hard in my life. We worked 7 days a week for 3.5 months. We worked at the very end of the show. It was 2.5 days straight, and we were all insane. We didn't, we checked out of the hotel, but they kept going. They kept going. They wanted to get it finished. They had to finish because they were going to run out of money.
Oh, so you just kept on shooting for 2.5 days?
Exactly. They would take
Oh my
me
God.
and put me on a spot and say, "Bob, okay, this guy's going to come out here. I want you to do this." And I said, "Okay." And then they would take me again and put me over here. "Okay, you're going to come out of this van. You're going to do this." And I said, "Okay." And that's what did with all of us. We checked out of the hotel. Nobody knew where we were at.
You know, my poor wife called and said, well, we don't know. He checked out 2 days ago. We changed airline reservations again and again and again and again. So actually we were insane when we left that. But, you know, I had no idea. You know, in the end, it paid off. I was contacted. He goes, have you ever been to a convention? I go, what? What kind of a convention? What are you talking about? Well, were you in this movie? Oh, yeah. Well, you're not credited. I go, well, I got stunt credit. Why? Who are you and what do you want? And he goes, well, you know, they may be interested, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I go, here, dude, this is what I did. Here are the scenes. If you see it and you think it's, you know, pliable here, then call me back. And he did. So I went, and I could not believe the people that were into that particular movie at all. So, you know, I mean, I did some movies and stuff with a lot of people, but yeah, this is the one that stood out, I guess, overall.
I figured maybe 2 weeks in the drive-in, you know, with Halloween, and that'd be about it, you know. Yeah. Back then, there's a few things that, like, I think I said, my agent had to beg me to go on the interview. I wouldn't go on the interview. Wouldn't do it. But, excuse me. But a horror movie in 1978 called Halloween is about the fucking corniest motherfucking thing I ever heard in my life. You know, it's like, what are you, out of your mind? I mean, how stupid, right? Oh, it's a horror movie called Halloween, you know? How great, you know? The original movie title was supposed to be The Babysitter Killer, but they had to change it. Yeah. A little too graphic, you know what I mean? So, I didn't even go. We shot in April, and I got in August or September. I got an invitation to go to the screening for the cast and crew of the movie, and I thought that was hilarious. I threw it away. Didn't even go. You know, just such an asshole. You know, I'm probably one of the most blessed guys walking the earth, really, because I did everything I could to not be associated with the movie. But here's what happened. Rex Reed, who was a very famous film critic on network TV, he happened to see the movie. The movie was only playing in podunk theaters. And he saw it, and once he said on network TV, this movie's great, that's why it became huge.
Really?
Yeah, so, I don't know, 6 months after I filmed it, I'm seeing that it's these billboards of the movie, and I'm like, you know, it's playing everywhere. I'm like, what this piece of shit, you know? Because there is no such thing as even a mask, you know. That was the first time they used a mask in a horror movie. You know, like Frankenstein, Wolfman is all makeup. It's the first time you use a mask, right? And I turned to my girlfriend. I go, have you noticed that this movie's still playing? It's playing everywhere, you know? She goes, yeah. I go, oh, shit, you want to go see it? She goes, yeah, fuck it, why not, you know? So we go see it. I swear it's a true story.
Yeah, so how'd it go?
So we go there, you know, the place is packed, of course, and everybody's screaming at the movie screen, you know, Dad, run, you know, all that shit, you know. And halfway through, I turn and I go, you know, this movie's pretty good. She goes, hey, it's not bad. That's how it happened. I had no clue. I thought there's no fucking way that this movie's gonna do shit, you know.
Got bad reviews from the beginning.
Yeah.
Carpenter showed it to a critic, and she didn't like it because the score wasn't in it.
Because the score wasn't in it, yeah. Well, here's the story about that. The reason why there wasn't a score in it was because it was an independent movie, and at the end they had no more money. So they couldn't pay the guy that was going to do the music. So John Carpenter goes, fuck it, you know, I'll snort some coke, you know, light up a joint, and I'll do it on my keyboard. And that's what he did. He just came up with it all right there, just, you know. I was like, wow, dude, you know.
One of the things I've always loved about Halloween, though, it's like a $300,000 budget, and it all went,
yeah.
$350. It all went on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those Steadicam shots, you know, stories of people running around moving lights so they could get. You know, they have 3 lights, and they have to light a whole house. The Steadicam shots. So you go out of the one room, people run with the lights and move to the stairs, and like that stuff.
The fake leaves in the street, you know.
Oh yeah.
They were painted brown to make it look like it was autumn, you know. Yeah, 21 days to film the movie, you know. And it was just a perfect storm. The whole movie was just a perfect storm. It's just one of those things that, you know,
Yeah,
man.
it's really cool. I took when I did Christmas Story, I took a girl to go see it, This is a girl. I'm from Toronto, and this was a French girl. She was really hot. It was like the 80s. She had short hair and big boobs. It was awesome. And I took her to go see this movie, and I was terrified. Terrified of her. And I was like trying to hold her hand and everything the whole time in the movie. And I was not good at it. And we walked outside. I was like, "Oh, so did you like the movie? Whatever, was it cool?" And she's like, "No, I don't like this so much." And she got on the subway and left. And I was like,
shit! Oh wow!
So that's my Canadian star system.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, when we shot Christmas Story, it was cool. It was the first film I had ever done. Bob Clark was a sweetheart. He was a very nice man. I miss him all the time. He kept me and the other bullies separated from everybody else to try and create that dynamic.
Sure. Yeah, good.
And my mom's an actress, so she was there. She was the one on set with me. And she just told me to act professionally because my family, that's what we did. And it was like going to summer camp, but really cold.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and it was one of those things where when I was 17 years old, I was working in a deli, and it's like I was a waiter in a deli, and you have these great horrible moments where you walk up and there's people like, "Oh my God,
That's you.
you're that guy. You're so good. We love you. We watched that movie on VHS. That
Yeah,
was
I
back then,
don't
right?
want lox and
Yeah,
bagel, please.
We love you. Yeah, exactly. Now go get me my coffee and my bagel." Okay.
Yeah, you're there.
So I felt like a big deal
you're
for
their
half
bitch.
a second.
Yeah.
Do you want some more cream
funny.
cheese? Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. That's a great story.
So many stories, I swear. There's so many. So much stuff happened.
So
You know.
another one I wanted to bounce off you guys. What do you think are the ingredients that go into making a great villain?
Sometimes they click and sometimes they don't. I have no idea.
I think their history of just of how they grew up and all that. It's got to be an interesting backstory about what they how they grew up and all that stuff. I think.
I did a movie. I doubled John Candy in a movie called Uncle Buck, and it was John Hughes who had the formula for the '80s thing all over the. And he did, and he created, some very iconic movies, and he was such a nice guy. I mean, he was just really nice, But John Candy was one of the best. He absolutely was, He didn't do anything. He didn't want to do anything. But that's made for me, I think, because I don't remember anything anymore. I think I did 6 or 7 films for John where I doubled him on, Uncle Buck, Spaceballs, Only the Lonely, Nothing But Trouble. I didn't do that. That was before me, but after that. And those were runs that, again, I was away from home so much because we were on location. John loved to go on location, but, those were, who knew at that time, and all I heard about, the original Chainsaw Massacre was that these poor people didn't make any money. They were tortured. The conditions were terrible. It was a no-budget movie. I don't think it had a budget, Chainsaw 2 had, I think it was $28 million was for that, which was a lot of money.
What?
A lot of money, yeah.
Was that the highest budgeted Canon film at the time?
I believe at the time, it was just a lot of dough, and I think it was all Israeli mafia money anyway.
Well, yeah, they started giving. It's funny how that studio went under is by giving Stallone like a $40 million paycheck to do Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie. When their original model was, I won't make a $30 million movie. I'll make 30 movies for $1 million each. One of them works and it pays for all the others.
Right.
That model was very successful, but once they broke off it, Canon.
Right. So that to see those guys come in with briefcases all the time, it was like, who are those? Oh, those are producers. Oh, okay.
And
this stuff, it's just so exciting. I mean, to go back and and remember these things that were going on, it's unbelievable. But yeah.
Zach, what do you think goes into making a great film?
What's weird is because Bob Clark did Christmas Story. He's a director. He also did Porky's. He also did Turk 182. He did Baby Geniuses. He did Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. He's an amazing director. I mean, he was just all over the board with everything he did. And the way Christmas Story got made is because he did Black Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. Like, and he was the first guy to do the camera POV, like it's following you through the house. That was him.
Oh.
And if actually Black Christmas is an amazing movie, because Porky's did so well, the studio was blowing smoke up his ass. Wanted Porky's 2, and he said only when I get to do my passion project. So he blackmailed them. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And what's funny about that is, I don't like Porky's, except I know not to be rude, but except for their. I mean, it's funny-ish now, and there was boobs, and which like everybody's a fan of boobs, but it doesn't hold up. Christmas Story is timeless.
I kind of agree with you on
You know,
about
and
Porky's, yeah.
it's weird. Like I'm a writer and a director myself, and how to put something together to try and capture that magic. It's lightning in a bottle. Like so people ask me, and honestly, around Christmas, right after Christmas, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm just done because I've just been worn out. But it is something like they ask me, do you get tired about it? I'm like, to be part of something. I mean, I was on Transformers, $150 million movie, did 1.3 billion around the world. No one wants to know about Transformers. No one gives a shit.
Right.
They're not going to say like, hey, but guy, you want to watch Transformers? Over and over and over and over. No, but that's Christmas Story. Yeah. It is magic in a bottle, and the way that comes together is, if they could define that, how that works, we'd be billionaires. Because it's rare air, man.
It's crazy.
Well, that actually leads right into my next question as well. You've all worked with some legendary directors along the way, and how instrumental were they in helping you each embody these iconic villains?
So John Hughes, just an extraordinary experience. Did another movie, Doubling John, and the director was Dan Aykroyd, who was insane.
Oh, cool.
You know, he was just everywhere.
Which movie was that?
Nothing But Trouble.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yes.
Love that movie. That movie is weird.
I got so. Anyway, as long as the checks go, I don't care what it is. But later on, you look at it, you go, oh my gosh. I worked in Casino, and I was a stunt player, and got to work with Robert De Niro. And it's just like, these are icon people in Hollywood. I got to work with Dennis Hopper, who, we rode the van to work every morning together, who was just the coolest guy. But I think it was Martin Scorsese that directed Casino. I don't know. And he had a platform, not a platform, but he was cut off from everybody, and he was looking at the video play. That's how he was directing. And they said, when you come in, don't look at him. He doesn't like people looking at him, And the first thing I did is I started staring at him, and he's looking at me, and I walked over and I said, hi, my name's Bob Elmore. I'm playing this stunt security guy, blah, 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 and I appreciate being on your movie. And he's just, he didn't know what to do, I said, okay, well, I got to get back to work, and walked away. So, a lot of different ones for me personally. Like I said, John Hughes was he was great. Aykroyd in his own crazy way was okay. He was very good, And then there's so many others. I don't know. But my favorite person, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care, that I worked with was Maureen O'Hara. She played John Candy's mother in Only the Lonely, and I fell in love with her. She was just so cool. And I have a story, and then I'm going to stop talking. We were doing a scene. It was John, Ali Sheely, were dating, and Maureen O'Hara was his mother, who had to go on the date. They're in the movies. They're watching a movie, and the movie was How Green Was My Valley, which was Maureen O'Hara's first movie. She was 19 years old. Some guy came up to me, and I'm at the door blocking it, and I'm watching it, and he goes, excuse me, can I go in there? I go, no, they're filming right now. I turn around, Roddy McDowall. He goes, well, that's me on the movie. And I'm just going, oh my God, That kind of stuff doesn't happen if you're not in this kind of industry. There's just so many things that I can look back on. I try to remember what I can that happened for me personally over the years, and it's just once in a lifetime stuff. That's it. I quit.
I did a movie with Roddy McDowall for Roger Corman, and Stella Stevens was in it. It's a piece of shit. He was fantastic.
What was the movie?
It's called Star Hunter. I'm horrible in it. I'm atrocious. I play a stoner. Dude, I'm retarded in this thing. What? No, I'm just drunk. It's different.
Me too.
No, but seriously, Roddy McDowell, it was great. It was like 1990.
That's just unbelievable stuff that, you just, it doesn't happen.
1995. If you get a chance, the movie is atrocious.
Star Hunter, I love atrocious movies.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Oh,
it's one
man.
of those monsters, it's one of those monsters in the movie that has a mask that doesn't move. So the whole time they look like they're getting their teeth done at a dentist. They just walk around chasing you with their mouth open. It's kind of creepy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it
That
was
sounds
great.
pretty creepy. Wow.
Yeah, John Carpenter, shit. When I met him, he was just like this normal guy, just this normal fucker, and I'm like, jeans, tennis shoes, t-shirt, whatever, but to watch him work was so inspiring. He didn't tell me what he wanted me to do, and I didn't tell him what I wanted to do. We just kind of meshed. But because it was such a low-budget movie, there was no more than 3 takes for any scene. And so he had everything set up in his head before every scene to the millimeter, man. Just, where the camera lights, it was just like, and I've never seen anything like that ever again. I mean, I've never saw anything like that. And he was really inspiring in that way, because the responsibility of what he had on that movie and how he just stayed like just a nice normal guy, never lost his temper or anything like that. It was just great. It was great.
Now, before you go on, I want to. Tobe Hooper was the director on part 2. He directed part 1, and he was just insane, every day, all day long. He, was this crazy man, and we were doing a scene again because the actor couldn't do anything with the chainsaw. Caroline Williams is in a bucket of ice, and here I come in, and I'm supposed to, and he's looking at me, and I'm going, "What do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Well, act like you're fucking her. That's what I want you to do." And he's screaming from the top of the set. I'm going, "Okay, I got you. All right, let me try this." Again, like I said, I'm not an actor, so it was so hard for me to get into all that because I've never done it before. So now I'm doing all this stuff that. And a lot of it was ad lib. I don't ad lib, So I'm thinking on my feet, trying to do this stuff, and some of it came out okay, but some of it was just so bad,
So one more I want to ask before I turn over to the audience. Why do you guys feel that in horror people seem to connect more with the villains than the heroes? Like the franchises follow the villains, they don't follow the heroes. That's a very different kind of dynamic.
Well, mine was a kids movie, so I can't really answer that question. But I think what for the bully, they liked watching me get beat up. I think there was a culmination for kids watching Scott Farkas just be a kid. I think the brilliance of what Bob Clark did is Scott Farkas got beat up, his hack fell off. He was no longer. It's like the mask falling off of Jason. And he's just got a bloody nose, and he's just a kid. For Christmas Story, I think it was empowering for people to see that the villain is just a person who's kind of a dick, as opposed to them becoming legend. And I think that's why people enjoy. Like people walk up to me and they're like, "Why should you get your ass beat?" And they give them so much joy. But I'm not a super villain. I'm just a beloved jackass. These guys are super villains.
Leatherface, I don't care who did it, is an iconic character. To be associated with that is, for me, it's just really hard to see that, but people do, and I appreciate it very much. And yeah, I can say that. Yeah, I played Leatherface. Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, I think people have things inside of them that they fantasize about. Not everybody, but we all have stuff inside of us that we may not tell anybody, but we, you watch Michael Myers and you go, "Yeah, shit, I'd like to stab a bunch of people too, man." That kind of thing. You know what I mean? And not really, but kind of. And so that's what I think. I think it's like it's so much over the top where you can never really go to, but you sure would like to. That's what I think.
Guys, anyone got any questions out there?
You in the front.
So you guys have been in the big 4 horror series. You've been in Freddy vs. Jason, which is both Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, Leatherface, Michael Myers. So how do you feel how the villains started and where they eventually ended off? Like how, Jason was just a boy who drowned in a lake, and then 8 sequels later, he's a cyborg in space, or how Leatherface was this big brute, and then he just becomes this whiny transvestite by part 4, or how Michael was this mysterious figure, and he just became like this pawn for a cult. How do you guys feel about that?
It's great. I love the development of the character. I mean, it keeps on, it keeps on building on the story of what happened before, and I think any film or any TV show has to do that. I think nowadays, like when we were younger, TV shows were kind of weak sauce and movies were the big deal. But now what people have learned is through TV series, you have an ongoing relationship with the audience, and you can build and develop a much more deep story base. So you have more nuance and character aspects that you get into, and the fact that they do that over the series, I love that. I just think I think that's part of why those characters have lasted so long, is the relationship keeps on growing as opposed to it being one-dimensional. It finishes and then you never move forward. Like you look at what's that? Right, and like you look at like my character was Freddy Krueger in the movie, and you look at what Freddy Krueger's done is when he loses, you actually have pathos for the guy. He's a pedophile, for Christ's sake, but you like him, and so the more he fails, the more you become part of his side. I think that's what's created the legend, is they've done that.
That couldn't be said any better than that, really.
You're right. I said it awesome, right?
You
Yes.
did.
You did.
At your family at Christmas, do you guys have, obviously it's on continuously, do you watch that? Or is it on at your house? And do you
No.
Do you ever get Prince Harry, that you get Prince Harry?
Yeah, because I'm really rich and good looking, so that. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, all us gingers look the same. I also got. You look like. What's his name? Bonaducci. I had somebody come up to me, and I had somebody ask for my autograph. I'm like, okay, Mr. Bonaducci. I'm like, I'm not fucking Bonaducci, you dick. Yeah, I did. I argued with this crackhead. It was awesome. All right, whatever, Danny Bonaducci. I'm like, eat a dick, Danny Bonaducci. Have a nice day. No, we don't watch it over Christmas. Around Christmas, I do a lot of charity fundraisers from like Thanksgiving out to Christmas. And so I get to spend time with families and kids and their stories. Like I meet the grandpas and their kids and their other kids and then the great-grandchildren. So for me, that's amazing. Watching the movie kind of depresses me because I'm not 13 anymore. Bob Clark's dead. Darren's dead. The mom, I think, has just passed. We're all getting older, we're all dying, so it just makes me feel really mortal. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. How would you like to spend your Christmas crying? I don't want to, but that's...
So you get this Christmas, you do your own Christmas story, the family.
Yeah, I watch people come up, like I've had 3-year-old kids walk up and like, your name's Zack Ward, you play Scafarkas. I watch the movie all the time and that's heart touching. It's just fantastic. So I feel blessed by that, but it also just makes me feel old.
Well, I didn't let my kids watch it till they were way out of high school and stuff, my movie, because it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, it's so bad. Me personally, it was so stupid that I didn't, but I made a lot of money, so thank you.
Very cool. We're almost out of time, but before we wrap it up, I do want to give you guys a chance to plug anything you guys got coming on the pipeline, any upcoming projects, appearances, place for fans to follow you online.
Yeah, I'm retired. Thank you very much.
All right.
If I talk about my social media in front of 6 people, I'm a dick.
Right, exactly.
Well, this will make a huge difference.
I was thinking the same thing.
Follow me on Twitter at TotalZackWard.com.
You know what? No offense for being so few,
Remember
but
Facebook?
we this has been a blast for me. I love hearing
9
stories
people at least.
that I've never heard before. I mean, these guys are great actors, and no matter what they say, that's very fascinating to me personally. So, I have a blast.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Very cool.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Make some noise.